What up, people? Welcome back to the Dugout Podcast. Yeah, man, you're here with your boy Ryan Leaf. Thank you so much for tuning in, and please click subscribe. Please like and share this podcast, and thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you all. So, how's everyone doing? Are you guys good? Hope everybody's good and just looking after themselves. Hope you guys are all great and just taking care of your health. There's never been a more important time to look after yourselves. So, this is your boy Ryan Leaf. You can follow me on Twitter at $I. You can follow me on Instagram at the Dugout Podcast, and you can find me on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And this audio will also be on the podcast, so don't stress. If you can't watch this, you can listen to me while you're working. You can listen to me while you're cooking, or whatever the case is, while you're driving home from work. But yeah, thank you so much. This is the best football podcast in South Africa. So this is your boy Ryan Leaf. Thank you for tuning in, and let's get into it. Okay. Dramatics aside, so let's have a chat about the midfield partnership of Paul Pogba and Bruno Fernandes. Now there's been talk about whether these players can play together, and Ole Gunnar Solsjkaer has come out and reassured most of us that Paul Pogba and Bruno Fernandes can play together. I think he's quoted as saying that good players can play together. So I agree with him. But is that Manchester United's perfect midfield? Because it provides lots of creativity. I think offensively it's amazing. I think it's very dynamic and athletic. And I think creativity-wise it's crazy. So the midfield partnership could include Nemanja Matic, Paul Pogba, and Bruno Fernandes. I think it will be an inverse 4-3-3 with Nemanja Matic basically being the holding midfielder, or it could be Fred just for some more energy. But I think it will be Nemanja Matic, Paul Pogba, and Bruno Fernandes. Now, Bruno Fernandes came to United with quite the reputation. You know, he left Sporting Lisbon and was doing crazy things down there, and we all saw what he's capable of in a couple of games. I think we saw it especially in the City derby. We saw plenty of time where Bruno Fernandes had the ingenuity and the innovation to try new things and to get United's front three on the front foot. I think he's the perfect player that they've been missing for the longest time. What Bruno Fernandes brings to the team is, it's crazy actually, how he's able to unlock defenses and how he's able to find that key pass. You know, he can actually even score a goal as well. He looks very confident from the penalty spot too. So I think he's the player that they've been missing. I think one of the most important traits of Bruno Fernandes is his leadership aspects. The man can lead. I've seen him basically gesturing, pointing at players, pulling them into position, saying, hey, make this run, make it, do something. And that's kind of what United have lacked for the longest time, is a leader, someone to pull people apart when they're 1-0 up and there's 5 minutes to go, in extra time. There's been time where I've seen him gesturing to players to make certain runs that he can play balls off of, So I think he's been a very confident player. And from the minute he's been on the pitch in a Red Devils jersey, he's hit the ground running. Honestly, he's been a joy to watch. I think he's got plenty of United fans off the back of their chairs. And he's someone that you can't wait just to watch more of. He reminds me kind of like the Philippe Coutinho arrival at Liverpool a couple of years ago when he first burst onto the scene and the things he was doing. He's reminding me of that, just of the fact that he's in his prime now already. So I'm really enjoying watching Bruno Fernandes for the time being. Like I'm really enjoying seeing him play in a United shirt. So what do you guys think? Do you think he's a good player to play with Paul Pogba in midfield, or do you bring him off the bench? I think you simply have to play both of them, but really, do you have to? I mean, because it just seems a bit imbalanced, but do you actually play those two and just hope for the best? What do you guys think? So let's get into a bit of tactical analysis right now, and let's see if those two can play together. I'll just give you my opinions. Hit me up in the comments. Hit me up on Twitter at $I or on IG. Tell me what you guys think. If you guys disagree with me, let's have a talk about it. Let's chat. But let me get into the tactical analysis of Bruno Fernandes and Paul Pogba in the same midfield. Hey everybody, and welcome to the technical analysis of whether Paul Pogba and Bruno Fernandes can play together in the same midfield. Now, as you can see, this is the strongest Manchester United Football Club first team or first 11, and as you can see here, the players that I've chosen are, I think are going to be first choice. I think Luke Shaw starts at left back, Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof as the centre back partnership, and Aaron Wan-Bissaka at right back. Nemanja Matic plays as the number 6. I've chosen him over Fred, as I think Nemanja Matic is more of the specialised defensive midfielder. And obviously we've gone for Paul Pogba and Bruno Fernandes as like the number 8 positions for the midfield trio. And then we have Anthony Martial up front, Marcus Rashford on the left hand side, and Daniel James on the right hand side. Now this team looks very offensive. I think Ole Gunnar Solsjkaer is building a team where you can see he wants his teams to be on the front foot and he wants them to attack opposition defenses as much as possible. I think with this front 5 of players over here, I think they could really cause havoc for opposing teams. For the longest time, United have been calling out for a number 10, someone that can unlock defenses, someone that can provide goals from midfield, and that person has been Bruno Fernandes. I know Paul Pogba is also capable of doing those things, but the reality is that he hasn't been fit for the longest time, and I think Bruno Fernandes' arrival, it was perfect timing. You know, from the minute he's put on a United jersey, you can see what he's capable of. You've seen him time and time again unlock defenses for Anthony Martial and Marcus Rashford, and just creates goal-scoring opportunities for his teammates. He can also score a goal, which is also very important. So I'm actually really enjoying watching Bruno Fernandes develop in this United team. Getting into it offensively, I think what we will see from this United team offensively is that this will probably happen where Marcus Rashford tucks in. They'll be very close to Anthony Martial, with Daniel James also being somewhat in this position. I think when it comes to the build-up of them getting into the final third, I think Daniel James will end up being just over here hugging the touchline to provide some width, but as his team builds up and gets further up the pitch, we'll see Dan James tuck in the side, with Aaron Wan-Bissaka providing some width and Luke Shaw, Nemanja Matic stepping up to the halfway line, and Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof stepping up as well. Now, this is what I think is going to happen offensively. I think Bruno Fernandes and Paul Pogba have the passing range and the composure to find players like Daniel James or Luke Shaw to provide the ultimate width for the United team. I think when they are being penned in, just moving his players back into position, I think when they're penned in their own half and they have to get out, I think Paul Pogba and Bruno Fernandes have the composure and also the unpredictability to get themselves out of tight spaces and find either Marcus Rashford in wide space or Daniel James. I think not many midfielders have the passing range or the composure in this United team to find Dan James in space when they are being put under pressure. With Dan James's pace, he's able to get them up further up the pitch, allowing Paul Pogba and Bruno Fernandes and the rest of the team to express themselves, but these two are always going to be an open option in the middle of the park. The great thing about Paul Pogba's passing range, his creativity, and also his confidence on the ball. It's borderline football arrogance in a way. What Bruno Fernandes brings to this team is the ability to unlock a defense with a key pass, also the composure to also hold the ball and recycle it very well. I think offensively, when this happens, I think either Paul Pogba or Bruno Fernandes will find space within these pockets right here, just between the midfield and the defensive line. Either of them will find those spaces. They'll find those spaces right there and occupy those spaces, just so they can get either a shot on goal, or if they can just slot it in for a teammate, like so. I think what this partnership does in the middle of the park, it also allows United to dominate games in the middle of the park. I think what we've seen from Nemanja Matic over the years, he's been a great recycler of the ball. I think he can recycle it pretty well sideways, this way, or into feet of Paul Pogba and Bruno Fernandes. I can guarantee you plenty of opposition teams are going to have red alerts when these two get the ball. plenty of them. I think these two provide lots of creativity going forward. They will make lots of opportunities. They will. Without a shadow of doubt, they will create lots of opportunities for opposing teammates to score goals. They will provide plenty of assists, and we've seen Bruno Fernandes create lots of chances already for his teammates as it is. It's been pretty phenomenal to see the impact he has on this team already. The great thing about Bruno Fernandes as well is that he's also a leader. I think he'll also impact Paul Pogba by making him a better player, making Paul Pogba more responsible for certain things. I think defensively Paul Pogba has come into question because pundits have asked if Paul Pogba defensively can handle the responsibility of helping his team win 1-0 away from home with 5 minutes to play. Does Paul Pogba take on enough responsibility to help his team get through stoppage time to take all 3 points back home? I think what Ole Gunnar Solsjkaer is going to have to do if this midfield pairing starts is he's going to have to coach a lot of discipline into his midfield about getting back into position, being tight when they haven't got the ball, and how to break when they haven't got it. Who initiates the break. I think it should be Dan James who would initiate it, and either Bruno Fernandes or Paul Pogba will find him in space just to get them further up the pitch again. But like I was saying, defensively, when they need to win 1-0 away from home, I think what's going to happen is this. This will happen with Anthony Martial in a bit of a free role, and Paul Pogba, Bruno Fernandes and Nemanja Matic typed in a little tight triangle over here, trying to either win back possession or to stifle the opposition players from getting through and having a shot at David De Gea. If I'm being honest here, offensively, these 5 have the potential to be devastating. The athleticism combined with the creativity, the confidence, and the sheer goal scoring ability of these 5. It's going to be very scary to watch. United sometimes this season have been marked as a counter-attacking team in the biggest of games. I think with these two in midfield, they're going to come into games way more confident than before. I think we're going to see this United team coming to games with a lot more arrogance into football games, dominating possession. I think these players here are going to be very crucial to how much possession United actually cover throughout 90 minutes. I think what Paul Pogba brings to you is the ingenuity, the innovation, the ability to spread the ball, to control it, to dictate the tempo of the game. And what Bruno Fernandes will bring is third man runs into the box and late chances to finish or to assist a teammate anywhere or shape or form. The only issue I have with this midfield partnership is the discipline and the willingness. Well, I haven't seen it, but the willingness to sit tight or to sit deep or to absorb pressure. Or how do they defend as a unit? That's my only concern here. I think United haven't been the best defensively, but I'd also like to see how this midfield copes with that. I think it's nice. These are nice options to have for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. It's going to be a nice conundrum to see how he integrates Paul Pogba and Bruno Fernandes into one team, and I think he generally has to include Bruno Fernandes and Paul Pogba in the same team, if I'm being honest. They just have to play together. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer came out this week and said that, all good players can play together no matter who they are. And I agree with him, I think just having Bruno Fernandes around in the middle of the park, I think he's quite the leader. We've seen him demanding that certain players make certain runs so he can provide the final key pass. We've seen him calling players and shouting into position. We've seen him in the press talk about how this club should be winning trophies and he came here to win. Bruno Fernandes has come here to be a leader at Manchester United, and he's the kind of player they've been crying out for a while. I know they've signed Harry Maguire, who also is a leader, and he's now the captain of the football club. But having Harry Maguire, having players like him, Bruno Fernandes, and in some shape or form Paul Pogba, they need to integrate a lot more leadership within the squad, and I think Bruno Fernandes is the perfect person to obviously get the best out of Paul Pogba. So, what do you guys think? Hit me up on Twitter at $_Rai and on Instagram at the Dugout Podcast, and I'll chat to you guys soon. Okay, welcome back, guys. So that was the tactical analysis of the Manchester United midfield and how Paul Pogba and Bruno Fernandes fit together into one midfield and how they operate together going forward. So what do you guys think? Does Ole Gunnar Solsjkaer play those two guys or doesn't he? What does he do? Because the reality is that they both need to be in the same midfield. They both need to play together. I know Paul Pogba's future is a bit uncertain with his agent coming out a lot of the time to either say that he needs to get his clients out of there, or with Paul Pogba's siblings saying that he needs to be out the club, or whatever the case is. But the future of Paul Pogba, it may be uncertain, but for the time being, I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has to play him and Bruno Fernandes in the same midfield, as they could create lots of problems for opposition teams. I think offensively it's amazing. I think defensively it really isn't, because Paul Pogba has shown a bit of indiscipline every now and again with regards to helping his team get through certain tough moments. I think going forward it's crazy. Going forward, those two could provide lots of assists for the likes of Anthony Martial and Marcus Rashford. Like, if you're Dan James, Anthony Martial and Marcus Rashford, if you're seeing Paul Pogba and Bruno Fernandes behind you, you're in dreamland. You are absolutely over the moon, because I think you wouldn't be able to believe that you have these two behind you. You'd be making runs all day long. I can only understand how motivated those boys will be to make channel runs or run in behind their defense or centre half. But it's going to be crazy. It's going to be really cool. I just think defensively is a bit of a question mark. I'd like to see how that midfield copes when it comes to them being put under pressure. They're winning 1-0 away from home, and if they can just keep things tight for 90 plus minutes. So this is your boy Ryan Leaf. Follow me on Twitter and IG. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think Paul Pogba and Bruno Fernandes can play in the same team? If not, let me know. Let's chat. Please click subscribe, and I will chat to you guys soon. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is your boy Ryan Leaf. Have the best week, yeah?